So hi, it's RealMyop. I wanted to show you my lecture made with Coeurdevandale and Rayas about the tool-assisted speedrun and how to finish Super Mario 64 in 5 minutes. So let's start right now. It's mostly made for you guys, the guys which are already making tool-assisted speedrun, but if there is also people who are interested, they could watch that video too. I'm already sorry for my great French accent. I'm not an English speaker normally, so I'm sorry if there is some stuff that I'm saying which are wrong or anything like that. So let's start. As you see, we have this really nice video that the community has made before the presentation about the tool-assisted speedrun. This is what we are using when people are waiting and getting in the room. But let's start with what's really interesting, as here is the lecture itself. So first, what's a tool-assisted speedrun? So everything starts with the speedrun itself, and by definition, a speedrun is just something that you want to finish a game as fast as possible. Then there is different way to do that, and the simple one, I would say, is a single segment. The one you think the first one, you start your console and then it's finished. You just go to the end as fast as you can. So this is, for example, a video from Half-Life 2. Which is really interesting too. The guy is really fast, is really good, and it's just a part of the single segment official fastest run right now of Half-Life 2. But there is also what we call the end segment, and this is also a part of one segment, a total segment of Super Metroid made on a console. So as you see, you can use the saves inside the game to slice your run in several pieces, and you will just improve that pieces. So as you can see, it starts at a really interesting part of a save, and so a few minutes later, it would be at the end of it would be at another save. Let's make also the difference between the speedrun and the time attack, or what we call also time trial. And the main difference, it's inside the game. So as you can see, this is a really famous mirror age game, which is great for speedrunning actually. And there is a timer inside the game itself, and that makes it one of the most interesting game for that, because you see that you have a timer, and this is what a time trial is. It's because you are actually following the timer inside the machine and not an external timer that you are which is running for you. Another example which is really famous, it's Mario Kart Wii. This is a really interesting run actually. Oh yeah, I like the way it starts, this one. So this is still not a tool-assisted speedrun. I want to explain that this is only normal speedruns, and I'm just explaining the difference between the several ways to do a tool-assisted speedrun. So as you can see, is really good, and this is still a time trial because you see the time is 1778 is inside the game itself. Okay. And also there is a difference between the in-game time and the real time, and that's really important too. So we have this video which is really interesting. Okay, so it's again Super Metroid, and you see there is two interesting things in this one. First, there is a timer inside the game itself, 3 minutes, and that's the time you need to leave the spaceship. And also something interesting is every time there is a door, like here, you see the timer stops, but the video doesn't, and that's really interesting for tool-assisted speedrun, because that's really important. The timing you have, the time that will be the official time you finish the game, is not the in-game time, but actually the real time of the video, and that's really important. Also, that timer is not really true all the time, because it stops, so that's for sure really weird. And there is still in most of the game, which are adventure game or some RPG, survival horror, stuff like that, you have an in-game time. So the game itself is gonna tell you how long it took you to finish the game, and also some other stuff like percentage, how much time, and how much the stuff you got during the whole game. So this is the end, and you'll see that soon there will be an in-game time. So that's also interesting, because in TASpeedrun you can also try to get the best in-game time. Usually it is, but sometimes it's not. Because if you make a game really slow down or something like that, you can have a really long real time and actually a really great in-game time. But if you want to be the best in in-game time, you have to precise it in your submission, and you will tell, yeah, so that's what I want to do. I wanted to achieve the best in-game time. So here it is. The operation was completed successfully, really fast, of course, and in clear time 23 minutes. So that's what we were talking about. Then let's move to another subject. So here, something which is also really important to understand when you're talking about tool assisted, it's made on an emulator. So an emulator is basically something really interesting because it's simulating one machine into another. Okay, usually you need a lot of, you need to be really powerful to simulate another machine, like this one, for example. It's a really famous emulator. It's SNES 9X. Here I'm going to play F-Zero from the Super Nintendo inside my Mac. Sorry, I'm on the Macs. For all the guys from the TASpeedrun community who know that it's nearly impossible to TAS on a Mac. Anyway, the main idea is to simulate one machine into another. The main problem is you need a lot of power to do that, at least 10 times the power of the original machine to be able to emulate it. Also, you have another problem. It's hard, and this is really interesting too, the two categories of emulators, because actually there is one which is trying to just simulate the result of the calculation. You could call it high emulation or high level emulation, but we are really not using this kind of emulators. We want something which is really close to the true machine, so we are using low levels emulators. Actually, even if there is bugs in the machine itself, it has to be simulated and emulated. It's really important if you want to keep all the lags, for example, or all the problems that could be that would be really happening in the real machine has to happen in the emulation. You need to be accurate. This is really the most important thing for an emulator. On a tool-assisted speedrun, you must be accurate. Okay, and now there is also something interesting. You need to play the real version of the games, the original version of games. So you can actually, basically, so this is Nestopia. I'm going to play a really famous Super Mario Bros. Game, and it's really a copy of the original cartridge, binary by bit, if you want. It's exactly the same game as the original. It's reacts the same, it looks the same, it's exactly the same game. Don't think it's a copy or anything, or something has been transformed between the real game and this one. It's exactly the same one. And I, again, really suck bad when I'm playing. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you can't play a tool-assisted speedrun, or even on an emulator, a game which is not original. So for example, this one, which is Super Demo World, you can play games which are not originals. That's not really a problem. You just need to specify it. Yeah, you can play on a demo, you can play on anything, but just tell that you are playing on a special game, and that's it. And this is a really nice game, so why would we not do that on a twisted speedrun, because it's not original? That makes no sense. So Super Demo World really needs to be TASed, and it's a really great one. Yeah, really beautiful one. Okay, and now we are going to the objective and the philosophy. You must try to be as perfect as you can. You are looking for a kind of absolute in the game, and this is really important. You are actually trying to be a kind of God mode playing guy or something like that, or like we like to say something like if Chuck Norris would play the game, that's how he would play. Or actually no, because Chuck Norris would be just above God, but whatever. That's a silly question. So try to reach a kind of absolute. This is really, really important. But it's not because you're reaching a kind of absolute that actually you are also, I would say, killing the idea of the game, or that's showing that most of the players were bad. When we are talking about computers playing, for example, we have this idea of Big Blue that beat Kasparov. But Garry Kasparov is not a bad chess player. Let's understand that. It's not because he has been beaten by a computer that it makes him a bad chess player. That makes no sense. He's still one of the greatest chess players that ever been on Earth. That's not the problem. And still, Deep Blue, which is here, it's still a great computer. They are both really, really good in what they are doing. It's not because one beat another that they are make them better or whatever. It's just a different tactics, different idea of how to play the same game. And that's really important when you're looking in absolute. It's not the way you are making the game which is important, it's the way you are playing it. Then that's something really important too. You need to be awesome when you play. You need to be cool, you need to look great. You need to be really, really nice. And that's a really nice video also to show that actually when you are playing a game, and if you are waiting in a game, please look cool. And this is really what this is one of the best examples I found on TASvideo.org, because the small only run of Super Mario World is really great for that. When he is waiting, he's really making awesome, entertaining stuff. So just to remember you, if you don't know the run, he is in small only, so he's not allowed to take any of the mushrooms, and he's also showing bugs and really making amazing tricks during the whole run. That's amazing what he is doing here right now, and it's highly entertaining. He won't earn any frame doing this, it's just that it's nice to watch. And this is really important. You need to make something which is really, really great to watch all the time. Okay, then that's a good question too. Are you making a kind of art or kind of art creation when you are making a tool-assisted speedrun? And it's a really big question. We talked a lot about that with my colleagues like Coeurdevandale and Rayas. It's a quite good and complicated question. My question would be, if Leonardo da Vinci would be Leonardo da Vinci for the Italianos, would be here, what would he think of the tool-assisted speedrun? I mean, someone like him would look for such an absolute in form and in great things. I think he would like it, and maybe he would be one. That I don't know, but I think if Leonardo da Vinci would be alive right now, I think he would like to make tool-assisted speedrun if he, of course, would play games. I don't know, but that's an interesting question. But there is whole topics about that, and it's so big that I don't want to discuss too much about that right now here. Okay. Next, it will be the history. How did it start? So actually everything starts with Doom. In the Doom community, I would say, they were starting to make some build demo, that's how they called it. So the main idea was to actually play games with, for example, slowing down the game and making great stuff, modifying some few lines of code to be able to make your own levels and stuff like that. And this is really the starting, because they were trying to slow down the game. So this is the first community who used tools to play games, I would say. But the real one, the one that everybody heard about, is this one. This is Super Mario Bros. 3 by Morimoto. So this guy actually made the real first tool-assisted speedrun like we are used to see, you see with a movie replay. And he made something really nice. The game is really good. A lot of people have seen this one. It's made millions of views on YouTube. And everyone thought, wow, that guy is crazy, he's playing so well, that's really incredible, he may have spent so much years doing that video, he's playing so well. Yeah, but he's in tool-assisted speedrun, but nobody knew that it was possible before, and he forgot to tell. So it has been a big problem. Actually, it told, but in Japanese, and of course most of us, which are not really Japanese friendly, didn't understood that actually that guy was playing into TASpeedrun, and it has been a big problem for the community then, because everybody told us that told the TASpeedrun were cheaters or just lying about how they did their run, but actually never wanted to lie. Huh? So then the public started to understood what it was and how it was made, because people are not stupid and they're trained to understand themselves. And there was this great guy, I think he's called Biscuit, maybe you know him, and he made his first website. It was Biscuit before, but now it's tasvideo.org, and it's really, really important because this is the heart actually of the TASpeedrun. That's where it's lives. That's really the most important website if you want to learn about TASpeedrun. So it's a really well-made website where you can find all kind of games. You can also see everything. The community there, it's a really important website, but don't worry, we will talk about that later. And yeah, also they made something really interesting on this website. It's the introduction. Welcome to TAS video. You see an introduction why we are here. Actually, most of the stuff I'm telling you right now is just translating what there is on this website mostly. And so that's really important that they made this work of explaining and sharing with the world the tool-assisted speedrun. Okay, then there is our work, especially. So this is our blog with Coeurdevandale, and our broadcast, which is called 88 miles per hour. We are commenting some tool-assisted speedrun. Maybe you have seen some of them, and we are also sharing information about tool-assisted speedrun, and of course making this lecture for you. Okay, and this is an extract of our broadcast, webcast, whatever you want, podcast, you can call it the way you want. And yeah, so we have a really nice intro, and you'll see that we are trying to be as entertainment as your runs guy. Okay, and we are showing our pretty face with beard to entertain people and commenting as well as we can the tool-assisted speedrun. Okay. Then it will be something that everybody is waiting for, I would say, is how the tool-assisted speedrun are made. And this is really interesting, of course. First, there is something which is really important. It's you need to know how the game is made itself way before you're doing a tool-assisted speedrun, and you need to know it so well. I'm going to show you something which is really interesting. This is the game resources of the NES Super Mario Bros. So this is I would say the web page where you will know all the tricks you need to know on Super Mario Bros. If you want to TAS it one day. And you see that they're explaining how to do here the wall jump, for example, or the flagpole glitch, using an enemy. And as you can see, it's a really, really long web page. But this is important. You need to first learn the game and also to, I would say, share with the others all the tricks you discovered in the game to be able to TAS it well. So it's a really long, fully described web page with all the things you need to know about the tool-assisted speedrun of one game only. This is only for Super Mario Bros. Okay, it's one of the biggest one. It's one of the game which has, I don't know much tool-assisted speedrun speedrunners try to make that game, but this game resources show how complicated it can get to learn a game. Even before you're actually TASing, you need to make so much research about how the game works, how the physics works, what you can do when you count in a game, that it is really important. Okay, so the page is really long. I'm not gonna go through it at all in all, but it's really, really great They made a fantastic work on that game for sure. Okay, but that's not the only thing you need. You need also the tools and what we call the cyber playing. So you need to be able to manipulate tools, and there is different kind of tools. And I want to talk about that just before we start to show you how to use tools. Okay, so the tools itself, there is two kind of tools. Tools that will make you a cyborg. That's why we call it the cyber playing. So the idea is you're going to go above your human limits, your human skills, so you can slow down the game, for example, so that will make you amazingly precise in the game. You can also edit the button you press per frame, so which is really useful to be really precise in what you're doing. And there is also another kind of tools which are less known, but which are also really, really important. It's like tools which are going to give you information about the game. For example, how much pixel per frame your character is moving, or how much exactly a boss has a point of life point, or stuff like that. And this is really important because you can check exactly what's the truth, I would say, in the game and not what you are seeing in the game. And this is really important. So this is really the major two kind of tools you have: the one that makes you playing really well and the ones that give you more information that the game is actually really giving you. But let's see that in real. So my friend Rayas, okay, he is, I would say, a real tool-assisted speedrunner, thanks to him. He recorded himself making the first level of Super Mario World and trying to make quite, I would say, nice first level of tool-assisted level of Super Mario World. And because he Camtasia'd himself, we will be able to see how it worked and how he made it. Okay, so as you can see, we have first this big screen. So we have SNES re-recording 1.51 version 6. So this is a really nice emulator, especially made by the tool-assisted speedrunner to be able to re-record, and I will explain that just a bit later. We have so Rayas playing. Just something I want to show is displaying the key, the input key on the screen. So what you see below on the screen is, like, for example, A or left and Y and stuff like that. It's actually the key he is pressing in that frame. So that's really important because like that we will see what he is doing. And on the right, it is the RAM watch, and we will go back there also. Okay, so the first really important thing, it's the save state. So most of the emulators have save states. It's really simple. It's saving the game at one point. It saves everything. So it's like a great save. You can save any time, any frame, and it will stay. You can go back exactly to that state. It saves the state. It's not a normal save in the game. It saves the state of the memory, state of the whole machine at one point. And if you go back to that point, it will be exactly the same one as you save. So you can do it in each frame if you want. And this is really important because like that you can record and start again exactly at a really precise point, not for example at the beginning of the level, but anytime you want. And this is really important. And that's why also most of the emulators have it, because it's really useful for bad players, I would say. And also if you can't save in the real game or anything, save states are really useful. Then there is something, and I'm sure that you maybe heard about it before, the re-record thing. So it's when you're re-recording yourself playing the game. And you see here it was written movie re-record 000 for example right now. It's because Rayas is trying to kill that coup as fast as he can, and also to be awesome, cool when he's doing it, and of course not losing time either. And every time he's missing, I think he's gonna do it soon, he's gonna re-record himself. So the main idea is actually you are making a movie of yourself playing the game. So this is one movie snapshot. So it means that from here I'm going to start to continue my movie. It's like editing a real movie actually, but from this point, from this movie snapshots, he's gonna go back to this movie snapshots every time he misses. So he's using a save state and he's going back to the movie snapshot. So let's see, I think he's gonna lose somewhere, and yeah, maybe here he's gonna make a new save. Yeah, you see, re-record, and every time he's doing it, every time he's doing a re-record, actually it's count as one re-record, and at the end you will see how much re-record has been made for this run in total. So you have to, that we all know that re-records are, it's not, the number of re-record won't tell you if it is a great run or not. But still, you need a lot, really a lot of re-record to do a great tool-assisted speedrun. Most of the time we are counting that in average there is 7 re-record per second, but on some few games it can go way above it, and on some others less. But it's really important to understand that there is, anyways, there will be always a lot of re-record, because you need to start and start and start again the same part to be perfect, of course. Okay, then the frame advance, and that's really important too. It's allow you to slow down the game. First, it can slow down the game, but it can also really slow it so much that you just need to press one key to go to the next frame. This is really important if you want to be precise, because even if you would have the save states and the re-record, if the game is going at its normal speed, so 60 frames per second, at least in America and in Japan. In Europe we were poor, so we had only 50 frames per second. Anyway, you need to slow it down. So that's what the frame advance is doing. It's really useful, and if you don't have it, it will be really difficult to make a tool-assisted speedrun. Okay, then the RAM watch. So that's what we were speaking about, and let's look at it a bit closer. So here we are. So you see in the RAM watch, it's some different values which are connected to the physics of the game. Okay, and the one we would like to highlight here is the 49. So this is the horizontal velocity of the character, which is Mario here. And it's really important that he keeps the 49 all the time. You see, for example, he went just below 49 and he decided to re-record because, of course, it was going to be slow. Something they discovered also in that game using the RAM watch, and I told you it was really important to have good information about the game, is actually that when Mario is running at his maximum speed, it's actually not always at 49, but it's a random number between 46 and 49. So when you are at your maximum speed, you are actually not at your maximum speed. This is a variation between 49 and 46. And the only way to keep 49 all the time is to jump all the time. Every time you touch the ground, you need to press a jump key to go back to 49 and never leave 49. You see, again, he left 49, re-record, and re-record to keep the 49 all the time. There is also other variability, so the vertical velocity, horizontal position, horizontal subpixel, and this is information you have in the game, but you don't know what they are meaning. So first you need to understand what they are, and this is why there is notes on the side. And this is also why the community is important. This is also why the game resources is important, is to get this information right. Because if you don't know that the 49, 45 is your horizontal velocity, it makes no sense. You see also that there is a in-level lag indicator and the score. And you can see the score, it's 1680 and it is 16800 on the real game, so that fits. Okay. So let's look a bit closer to how this is working, because this is really interesting. So you see it's trying to keep the 49, and it will show you also something which is interesting about the physics in the game. You see he messed it, he went to 45. It's that the game, you need a few frames before pressing a button to actually make it work. It feels really good when you're playing, but when you're a tool-assisted speedrunner, it means that you have to, you see he's pressing A 3 frames before he actually jumps, because that's how the game reacts. You need to press the button for a number of frames. It's not only one, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 15. It's always different. You see he's pressing during 3 frames A and he jumps. And he needs to do that just before it touches the ground. And don't try this at home, you'll die. It's really, really hard. Okay. Next things which are really important. If it's switch, yeah, okay. The X editing. So what is the X editing? So it looks like that. This is a TAS movie editor version 0.12. It's a really interesting tool because actually it's allow you to share or correct your input on each frame. So the main idea is really simple. You have frames. On each frame it records your input itself and you can modify them. It's useful for many stuff, but the most interesting one is actually that you can share your tool-assisted speedrun with someone else and you can try to improve only a part of it, because if you're making a movie, you will maybe make one small mistake, and instead of re-recording everything because you need to make it in one row, you can change something in here, and that's really important also. Especially when you want to share, because in the community you will never be alone usually making your tool-assisted speedrun. You can always find someone to help you. Okay. Then there is the scripting. The scripting is something which is pretty new. They are still working on it. So, for example, you can use Lua script to control the game for you and be able to do amazing stuff in the game through a script which is playing for you. I don't know if it is exactly what we can call playing, but still the main idea is there. Okay. Then there is what we call the brute force mathematics, and this is quite complicated. It's when you are trying to force the game to do something that it's really hard to get. And for example, and I'm going to talk to they are both connected, the brute force and the luck manipulation. Luck manipulation, you may have heard that name a lot because it's really interesting too. How to say, luck in a game is not static. It's not like in real life. If in real life you roll a dice, it will be impossible to predict if you're going to make a 6, a 1 or a 5. In a game it's slightly different, because actually the luck is calculated by the console itself. So there is many ways to calculate the luck. For example, it can be the state of the RAM when you start the console. It can be how many inputs did you press since you start the game. It can be I don't know, where your character is when in the screen when you're making the luck random stuff. So it can be manipulated, because if you know how the luck is working, you can influence the luck itself and get what you want, when you want, where you want, and that's really, really interesting. One of the best examples we have about that is, for example, in Mario Kart. If you want to get all the time the perfect thing, it's possible. And this is really interesting to see how it works, because actually you need to know really how the game is working. So it's really connected again to the game resources. It's really, really important. So Rayas is making his tool-assisted speedrun. We are nearly done with all the tools you can use. And to do luck manipulation, you need all that tools. It's not really easy to do. For example, it's another interesting one. If you want to do luck manipulation, sometimes we discovered that some inputs, for example, start or select on a Super Nintendo, even if they're not used in the game itself, they will manipulate the luck. So you need to press all the keys on each frame to see which one is the fastest, because that's always your goal. Try to think that you need also to be the fastest as you can doing the tool-assisted speedrun. So first you need to manipulate the luck to get what you want, but you need to get it as fast as possible, and that starts to get really crazy. If you want an example, you can try to watch again the Monopoly run, which is really important for that, because it's a 30-second run and there were more than 500,000 re-record on that run, because it was really hard to get all the luck manipulation you need in that game. Okay, I'm going just to move a bit forward the video here. So let's watch now the speedrun he made and how it looks now. So it took him something like 15 minutes to make it's the first level of Super Mario World. So it shows you also how long and hard it can be to make a tool-assisted speedrun, because as you see, it's a really simple level. That's only the first level of Super Mario World, but it can get really, really more complicated when it is the hardest level. I can tell you that. So as you see, it's playing really well, and that's amazing. But it's made with a tool-assisted speedrunner, of course. So now let's move to a spirit, because this is also really important. In the tool-assisted speedrun community, it's mostly a spirit. So let's go back to TASvideo.org and let's see the forums. And as you can see, the forum is really big. It's really well documented. There is a lot of people. It's really a moving community, and it is really important that you are never alone doing a tool-assisted speedrun. As you can see, this is a tool-assisted laboratory. There is plenty of threads. It's really great. They are talking about everything. You see palindromic tool-assisted speedrun, PC TASing tool, finding ink boxes, I don't know, everything that you can see, my projects, everything. There is a lot of these subjects discussed everywhere in the forum, and it's a really, really great one. Okay. Then there is also something else, the IRC. So this is the IRC of the TASvideo IRC, where you see right now they were Adelicat and Arukado talking about something like, I think it was about, can you TAS the Wii or something like that, and if you need an SSD hard drive or something like that. So it was a really interesting discussion. They were there on the IRC. It's a lot of the tool-assisted speedrunner are there. They are talking together, giving them information, everything. It's where the community is living in real time most of the time. It's really interesting. If you want to talk to them, that's where you should go. Okay. Then, like I said, a spirit, and I want to show you one video to make a good example of that spirit, I think. So you may know the game Zelda Ocarina of Time, which has been TASed recently, and it's a really amazing tool-assisted speedrun. And I wanted to show you that one because actually it's using all the tricks you can ever imagine in a game to beat it. So first he jumped above that bridge with his bomb, which is actually really amazing. Then he's doing something called the reverse bottle adventure, and switching object in a bottle using crazy systems is really amazing. Right now he's making, I would say, dungeons, because he's getting some medal for doing dungeon, and you see the ocarina has turned to a bomb. It's highly complicated stuff, but that's the spirit. If you think it's impossible, first ask, think, try again, and maybe you will make it and it will look amazing like that run, because I can tell you that if you want to finish Ocarina of Time in only 56 minutes like they made, it needs really, you need to believe that it is possible first, and that's really amazing. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about the desynchronization, and I know that all the tool-assisted speedrunners which are watching this video right now are going to shiver a little bit, because this is a really bad problem, and I want to show that to everyone, because it's doing... so this is a hack again of Super Mario World, and this is one of the best examples I found of desynchronization. So you see it's playing well, but what? It died in the tool-assisted speedrun? It's gonna lose time. No, actually it's a desynchronization. One frame, it's not the right inputs, and Mario is doing stupid stuff. As you can see, that's really interesting, that if there is no one behind the tool-assisted speedrun, but the console don't care, it's just stupid. So you see, this is Mario, and he's really happy. I don't know to say, he had problem recently, you know, Peach is not really nice with him all the day, and he preferred to die. Anyway, that's a good example of desynchronization, that if you are not aware about that you need a human, really, that's really important. If you ever thought that it was a robot playing, that's not the truth. You need a human behind the tool-assisted speedrun, because you see the console itself, it can make stupid things and don't care about that. Okay, so let's switch to the next topic. Okay, and it's a really interesting one also that we switch from the tool-assisted speedrun to the tool-assisted speedrun. We have I need to translate that. That's not that simple. With changes, with problems on the run, but it will be clear on the next one. So you can make some different starting conditions. Yeah, the right word would be conditions, sorry. So first there would be different starting condition, for example, a one-player run versus a two-player run. So this is this is a really old tool-assisted speedrun. You see it's called Biscuit still. And this is the first, the one-player run of Chippendale on NES, made by Genisto. And you see, well, it's a tool-assisted speedrun, it's playing quite well and everything. It's still available because it's still the fastest run for a one-player run, but there is also the Dragon Zik tool-assisted speedrun made with two players. You see, it's playing the two players, and it's another run actually. It's a bit faster, but it's normal because there are two, so it's another kind of run. Okay, so that's a condition, a starting condition, which is a bit different, one or two players. Okay. There is also the fastest run with a character, not only one, but you can do it with several characters. So this is an extract of our broadcast, and this is Super Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo, and they made two runs, one with Ken, one with Zangief, because they didn't know exactly which one was the fastest one, so they decided to make two runs. It's hard to say that one is better than another, actually. We just know that, okay, Zangief is gonna be faster than Ken. But it's two different runs, and they are still both available because they are both interesting. And this is the fastest way with Ken, or the fastest way with Zangief. Okay. Now, you can also make runs on hacked version of the game, like we said. And let's move again to the super demo world. Here we are. And you can so make a tool-assisted speedrun on a hack game. That's really not a problem. If the game is working on the real console, there is no problem. You can have the tools, you can have everything you need to make it. So why shouldn't you not do it if it is a great game? So again, here we are with a great game, TAS, even if it is a hack, no problem. Yeah, of course, he's playing well. Okay. Then you can also change the objective. You can make variations about the objective itself. So you can make a 100% run, and this is a submission of Super Metroid and Super NES. So this is the all items one, so what we would call the 100% one, in 1 hour 8 minutes. And that's really, really nice. So you can also see about how it looks a bit on the website itself. You can see that you can download the SNES 9X movie file. You can see the BitTorrent file, it's a video file. That you can watch it on YouTube, on Vidler, sometime on Dailymotion. So it's really available everywhere. You can see the rate of the movie, 9.1 rating. It's a really good vote, really good run also, but that's true. You can discuss the movie. You can see the oldest one, the obsolete movie, and you can also view the publication and everything. So that's really interesting. And also the short description about what was the idea of the tool-assisted speedrun when he made it, and some few comments about that. On the right of it, you can see that actually this is the objective, what he has made in his run. So 100% completion, like I said, it's an 100% run. Take damage to save time, so it means that he's gonna take damage to save time. Heavy glitch abuse, so it talks by itself. Heavy luck manipulation, and the genre, it's action, genre, and platform. Okay. But there is also the run which are aiming for the lowest percentage of the game, and this is another Metroid because it works really well with the percentage. And this is a 0% one in 1 hour and 13 minutes, so you can see that it's a low completion, takes damage to save time, and it's nearly the same thing, but it's the low percentage one. Okay, you can also look for a high score That would be actually a really usual thing. And this is Tetris on NES, so it's the fastest way to get to 999,999 points in 3 minutes and 11 seconds. So aim for maximum score, which is a high score, best ending, use warps, everything. Okay. Then there is something also which is really important. It's the variation about how the game is working itself. And so, for example, 100% of kills. So it's inside the game. It's not the 100%. For example, you can see it. It's something that the game is telling you if you made or not, how much you made of the game inside. Here it's more about some kind of different games. So it mostly works with the classics shmups game, shoot 'em ups game, so like Gradius 3, that you're gonna kill all the enemies on the screen. So this is a 100% of kill game. But it works also, for example, with games like beat 'em ups game or stuff like that, because you need to kill all the enemies to go through. So it will be a 100% run too. Okay, there is also another kind of run. The run no damage, so you are not taking any damage, and it works also with Gradius, because of course taking damage would kill you and you would lose time, so it makes no sense to do that. So here he is killing everyone as fast as possible, as well as he can. With it's a really nice run. If you don't know it, you should watch the Gradius runs. They are really amazing. Then there is another kind of runs which are really funny, so I'm going to explain that in real time. Okay, so this is a Contra 3 run, and this main idea is you're going to remove something from the gameplay, for example, shooting. So in this run, which is called the Pacific run of Contra 3, is going to finish the game, but without using the lowest ammo as possible. So you don't want to use ammo unless it is really needed. So he's gonna only kill bosses mostly, because he needs to kill the bosses to make the game move on. But that's all he's doing, and he's quite fast. That's a crazy thing. And in a game like Contra, not shooting, it's really crazy. I mean, that makes nearly no sense. But that's great. That's a beautiful run also, and the idea was great to make in the Contra. And they have also a lot of humor on the TAS videos, because the speedrunner itself told that there were some budget restriction in the world they are living in Contra 3. And they had no money for ammo anymore, so they need to be economics, to be careful with their ammo and not shoot if it was not necessary. Okay, but there is even worse than this. You can also remove a whole button on a 2-button controller. So this is the Walkathon of Super Mario Bros. The main idea is you're never run, so you're never using the B button. You're only allowed to use the A button to jump. And it's funny to see that in terms of game design, actually, it's a really weird idea that you can finish a game without using one of the buttons of the pedal. Anyway, it works pretty well, and Happily had probably a lot of fun doing that run. Okay, then there is Simultaneous run. And this is really crazy. Let me show you and explain. Okay, so the main idea is you're gonna use the same inputs for 2 games. So basically you have one joypad for 2 games. Yeah, one joypad for 2 games. So actually he's doing Mega Man X and Mega Man X2 at the same time. He's doing the 2 games at the same time with the same paddle. Okay, it's completely crazy, but it was possible. It's an amazing run for that. But it's right also that the physics between the 2 games are really close, because it's actually exactly the same game. It's only new graphics and a bit of new moves or new possibilities, but that's really looks the same, and it's finishing the 2 games nearly at the same time. That's really impressive. But you remember we talked about the spirit in a tool-assisted speedrun, and if someone is making 2 games at the same time, there will be another one thinking, 2? That's not enough, let's do 4. And this is the Mega Man 3, 4, 5 and 6 together. So we are still on games which are highly which are quite the same in the physics, because it's still Mega Man, and Mega Man, it's Mega Man, you know how it works, it's only new levels, but the physics is exactly the same. Even technically it's really close, even if they all look good. And so with one paddle, one input is going to do the 4 game at the same time. That's really crazy, but that's possible. But like I said, you know, in a tool-assisted speedrun, what is important is the spirit. It's what you can do. You need to always think, oh, that's impossible, we'll never do it, so why are we doing this, you know? But actually that's not true, and we can go a bit further. No, he's not going to do 6 or 8 runs at the same time, he's going to play different games, different physics in game. So this is Super Mario Bros, Super Mario Bros 2, Super Mario Bros 2 in Europe, or in America, which is known actually, we will call it Doki Doki Panic, and Super Mario Bros 3. So he's doing the 4 games all together with only one paddle, and that's crazy because really the physics between the first 2 ones, so Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. 2 compared to Doki Doki Panic, the European version of Super Mario Bros. 2, it's really crazy because it's not the same game. Still, he is able to finish the 4 game together. That's really amazing. Really, I'm always impressed when I see that run. It's a pretty new run, and it's a really amazing run. For that, that's the spirit, you know. When you want to do tool-assisted speedrun, think about what's impossible may be possible actually in tool-assisted speedrun. Okay, so there is also what we would call the variation of tomorrow. What the future can do for us? What will be the future? And that's a good question. I think we should ask the tool-assisted speedrunners themselves. But we can think about, I don't know, 2 platforms together. I don't know if it would be a good idea, but for example, doing Aladdin on Super Nintendo and Mega Drive at the same time, or doing 2 different games, completely different game at the same time. I don't know, one platform game on one side, and a beat them up or shoot them up on another side. That would be interesting too. We can also think of removing other buttons or no buttons at all. I don't know. There is plenty of variations that you can think about inside gaming, and I think we'll see new variations all the time in the future, because it's only if you have an idea. The question is not can you do it, it's do you want to do it or not. Okay. Then, yes. So this is really important too, from the tool-assisted speedrun to the tool-assisted superplay. Because why staying only finishing the game as fast as possible? We can maybe do something also really interesting without trying to finish the game as fast as possible. Just by playing around with the game. That's something really important, because super playing just means by definition that you're playing well. It doesn't mean that you want to finish the game as fast as possible. So this is a tool-assisted speedrun of Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate, which is one of the funniest run made on a fighting game, I think, because it's completely crazy game anyway. Samsung it's a crazy character because he can be any character, and the game is bugged. The AI is completely stupid. There were many things, and you see he's playing with the game. It's not trying to be as fast as possible finishing the game. It's just showing you crazy stuff like that in the game. Then this one also. One of the most famous Superplay for fun, tool-assisted Superplay. It's the ISS Deluxe run. So it's one of the best football match I ever watched. I mean, without talking about real matches and everything, that's really the best football match I've ever watched. There is a lot of goals, crazy things. It's really an amazing run for that. Everything is completely crazy. It's really making the console going crazy, and that's fun. That's so much fun. Okay, but there is also what we would call artistic Superplay, and this is really interesting because it's a brand new idea. So this is a Baxter run from Tetris, and let's watch it a little bit because it's a really nice one. because he's not trying to beat Tetris. It has been made, it's really interesting. He's trying to do something completely different. He's trying to do something which looks cool in Tetris. And what would look cool in Tetris? I don't know. But like I said, you know, in a two-layer speedrun, everything is about a spirit. What can you do and how can you do it? And yeah, can you really do it? And he's doing, as you can see, it starts to be possible to see it now. He's doing a texture. Yeah, he's doing a texture inside Tetris, a kind of mosaic motif inside the game, which is really, really amazing. First you need the idea, and then you need the skills also to do that. And of course, in tool-assisted speedruns, that's the best thing to do. As you can see, he's using, if you want a good example also of luck manipulation, Tetris is perfect because the statistics of the game normally should be the same on each characters you can have, the T, the L, the S, the Z, the O and everything. But as you can see, he has no square at all, or he had only one since the beginning. Oh, two, yeah. So he's really manipulating the luck inside the game itself to get exactly what he wants to make that's amazing texture. And there's also something that I really like in that run. It's you're always thinking he's gonna die. You know, you always think he's not gonna go any further. It's too high. Yeah, no, it can't go any further. You see, he can't move anymore. That's crazy. And actually, it's a tool-assisted speedrun, you know. He's always gonna try to go higher and higher and higher and do his best to entertain you till the end. Yeah, it's not finished. Yeah. Oh, now it is. Okay, so that's a really interesting one too. There's another one I wanted to show you, and this is one made by myself with a great a friend called Alden. He programmed that thing, and I used it to make a nice drawing inside the game. So it's called a tool-assisted Mario Paint. So it makes no sense again, because Mario Paint is definitely not a game that you can finish as fast as possible, but it's a game that you can make nice drawing. And the main idea was to do a kind of music video for a friend in the 8-bit scene, which is making music on a Game Boy. And I used this idea of Alden with a great drawing of the doors actually inside the game. So this is also a good example of what we call scripting or Lua gaming. So the main idea is not a tool-assisted speedrun that I've made with my hands actually. It's really programming tool-assisted speedrun mostly. The main idea here is to use, first you need Photoshops to take a picture, any pictures you want, okay? Then you go in Photoshop, you are done scaling the resolution of the picture itself to fit inside the Mario Paint game. And also you're reducing the number of colors, because there is way too much colors in normal pictures right now. You need to down the colors to 12 colors. And you need also then to export it in the right format. When it's done, you can just play. Yeah, you need a Python programming script actually to switch this information about the painting itself, how it's made in Photoshop, to control for the game, because right now you just have a picture which has the right resolution and the right colors, but it's still not playable, I would say, by the console itself. So you're using a Python script which is transforming that inside controls itself. It's moving, and that's the great work of Alden here. That's it works well using the transformation from the pictures itself to controls, to inputs if you want in the game itself. Then when you have this, you are going inside this emulators, which is S99X, we talked about it also before, and you are playing a Lua script made by the Python script you had before. And also, because it would be really slow if you are only doing it that way, you need to play it as fast as possible. So you unlocking, I would say, the speed of your emulator to make a nice video, and that's how you get an amazing drawing in Mario Paint using different tools. But it's a really interesting one also to see that the idea of making a tool-assisted Mario Paint. Yeah, here we are. Okay. Okay, so then there is one of my favorite, I think, tool-assisted speedrun. It's the Brain Age tool-assisted speedrun, because here we have everything. We have an artistic speedrun, because you see he's making amazing drawing in the game. But we have also something really complicated at the same time, because he's tricking the game itself. The numbers is making, it's the right answer, but it is drawings, and that's really amazing, because that's really about that idea of, do you think it's impossible? Okay, let's look if it's true or not, and let's make a tool-assisted speedrun about that. Everything started about that run in Japan, because you discovered that when you were making some crazy shapes which looks like drawings, it would be the right answer, because you can actually lie to the detection system inside the game itself. If you want, the console is interpreting what you wrote on your screen and is trying to compensate what's may be wrong. So there is different way to do that. For example, it's getting the global shape, but also inside shape. Anyway, it's quite complicated, but it works, and that's maybe the most amazing thing that you can see on tool-assisted speedrun, because it's really fun, artistic, amazingly complicated to do, and really amazing to watch. Okay, so thanks to Ryuto, we have this this amazing run. Okay, in conclusion, because yeah, finally that's already the end of this lecture, I wanted to show you something, because we know that a lot of people think that tool-assisted speedrun are only made on emulators, and it will only run on emulators. Even if the emulators are really close to the real console, it will not be able to run on a real console. And I would tell you, you're wrong, because this is something we call the NES bot. And what is the NES bot? How to say that the tool-assisted speedrun player on a real machine, on a real NES. So thanks to our friend, he made I would say a movie player for his own NES. So you can find how it's made on instructable.com. It's called the NESbot. It's based on an Arduino, and you can play tool-assisted speedrun on a real machine. So it proves two things. First, that tool-assisted players are amazing because it works. First, they are making great runs. And also that the emulators are really close to the truth, or are the truth actually. When you are emulating a game, you are so close to the real machine that it's even work on a real machine. Okay, so this is it. I think we're going to say goodbye. I hope that you liked this lecture about the tool-assisted speedrun. I tried to be as good as I can. We are doing it in French usually, so it's a bit easier for me to speak French also. I hope you like it. I hope that you can. I said nothing that was too stupid or anything, and I hope to see you soon. Maybe in watching 88 miles per hour, because it's still under subbing, and maybe one day we'll do it in English anyway. Okay, so bye bye everyone. I hope you like it, and see you. Bye bye.